Let us find ourselves in an ancient city of the Indus Valley as the day draws to its close, as the fierce heat of the afternoon begins to lift, and the first hints of evening coolness touch the air. This is one of the great cities of the ancient world, built with remarkable precision and order, its streets laid out in perfect grids, its buildings constructed of uniform baked brick. We are here simply to observe, to drift through these final hours of daylight, letting the peace of this organized and prosperous place settle over us like the dust of the unpaved lanes. The city rises from the flat plain, its buildings mostly 2 stories high, constructed entirely of brick, baked in kilns to a hardness that will endure for millennia. The bricks are uniform in size, a testament to the standardization and planning that characterizes everything here. The streets run straight and true, north to south, east to west, wide enough for carts to pass, intersecting at right angles, creating a city that is logical and orderly, easy to navigate, pleasant to inhabit. As we walk along one of these main streets, we notice the drainage system, perhaps the most remarkable feature of the city. Along each street runs a covered drain, built of brick, carefully graded to ensure water flows away from the city, carrying waste and rainwater to larger channels and eventually beyond the walls. Manholes at regular intervals allow access for cleaning and maintenance. This attention to sanitation speaks of a civilization that values health and cleanliness, that understands the importance of managing water in all its forms. The sun is lowering toward the western horizon, the light turning golden and soft, no longer harsh and white as it was at midday. Shadows stretch across the streets, providing welcome relief. The heat is still present, but losing its intensity, becoming bearable, even pleasant. A light breeze stirs occasionally, carrying the scent of the river that flows past the city, the river that provides water for drinking and irrigation, for transport and trade. People are making their way home from their day's work, moving through the streets with unhurried purpose. Men carry tools over their shoulders, craftsmen who have spent the day working copper and bronze, making beads from carnelian and steatite, throwing pots on wheels, weaving cotton into cloth. Women carry water jars balanced on their hips, the vessels made of terracotta, smooth and cool to the touch, filled from the public wells that dot the city. We pass a public well, one of hundreds throughout the city, each built with the same careful precision. The well is surrounded by a brick platform, the shaft descending deep into the earth to reach the water table. A rope and bucket system allows water to be drawn up, the rope worn smooth by countless hands, the bucket clay or possibly copper, dipping down into the cool darkness and emerging filled with clear water. A group of children plays near the well, their game involving small clay toys, miniature carts pulled by tiny oxen, little birds and animals that fit in the palm of a hand. The toys are beautifully made, despite their small size, detailed and charming, created by skilled craftspeople, or perhaps by the children's own parents during quiet moments. The children's laughter is bright and clear, their play innocent and imaginative. The same games children have always played everywhere. We walk toward the citadel, the raised area at the western edge of the city where the most important public buildings stand. To reach it, we climb a wide ramp, the ascent gentle and easy, designed for carts and pack animals as well as foot traffic. From the top, we can see across the entire city, its orderly layout spread before us, and beyond to the agricultural lands that sustain it, fields of wheat and barley, cotton and rice, irrigated by carefully managed canals. On the citadel stands a large public bath, its central pool sunk into the ground, lined with brick, sealed with bitumen to make it watertight. The pool is rectangular and deep enough to stand in, with steps leading down on all sides. Around the pool are small rooms, perhaps for changing or for ritual preparation. The bath is used for ritual purification, a place where cleanliness and spirituality merge, where the body is washed clean and the soul is renewed. At this hour, the bath is quiet, the day's activities concluded. The water in the pool is still and clear, reflecting the darkening sky, the surface perfectly smooth. The space feels sacred despite its simplicity. The clean lines and careful construction creating an atmosphere of order and peace. We can imagine the morning hours when people come to bathe, the water rippling with their movements, the low murmur of conversation echoing off the brick walls. Leaving the citadel, we descend back into the residential quarters, walking along narrower lanes between houses. The houses are built wall to wall, creating continuous facades broken only by doorways. Most houses follow a similar plan, rooms arranged around a central courtyard open to the sky, the heart of the home where much of daily life takes place. Through an open doorway, we glimpse one such courtyard. The floor is brick, swept clean, a few clay pots arranged against one wall. Stairs in the corner lead to the upper floor, where sleeping quarters are located. In the courtyard, a woman tends a small fire, preparing the evening meal. The fire is built on a raised brick platform, keeping it off the ground, the smoke rising and dispersing through the open courtyard. She is cooking flatbread on a griddle, the dough pressed thin and round, blistering over the heat. The smell of toasting wheat is wonderful, making the mouth water. That fundamental aroma of sustenance. There is also a pot simmering, perhaps lentils or chickpeas, vegetables from the garden plots outside the city walls, flavored with spices that grow in this region or are brought by traders from afar. The family begins to gather for the meal, appearing from different parts of the house, men returning from work, children called in from play, everyone coming together as the day ends. They sit in the courtyard on low wooden stools or on mats spread on the brick floor. The evening air pleasant now that the sun has set. The courtyard walls still radiating the day's stored heat, but in a gentle, comforting way. The meal is eaten from pottery bowls and plates, the ceramics well made and functional, sometimes decorated with simple geometric patterns painted in black or red. There are no elaborate utensils. Food is eaten with the fingers or scooped with pieces of bread. The tactile connection between hand and food, something natural and unquestioned. The food is simple but nourishing, grain and pulses providing the foundation, vegetables and occasionally fish from the river adding variety. Conversation during the meal is quiet and companionable. The sharing of small observations, questions about the next day's plans, gentle teasing among siblings. The family structure here is close and cooperative. Multiple generations, often living under one roof. Labor divided according to age and ability. Everyone contributing to the household's well-being. After the meal, there is time for quiet activities before sleep. A man sits near the courtyard wall, working on a piece of bead making, drilling tiny holes through small pieces of stone with a bow drill. The motion repetitive and meditative, requiring patience and steady hands. The beads will eventually be strung into jewelry, necklaces, and bracelets that are traded throughout the region and beyond. A woman works at a small loom, weaving cotton cloth, the thread remarkably fine, the weave tight and even. Cotton grows well in this region, and the people here have mastered its cultivation and processing, creating fabric that is light and breathable, perfect for the hot climate. The cloth she makes will be sewn into clothing or traded for other goods, cotton being one of the valued products of this civilization. Children are prepared for sleep, washed with water, warmed in the sun during the day, their skin scrubbed clean of the day's dust. They climb the stairs to the upper floor where sleeping rooms are located, spaces that are cooler and more private than the ground floor. The rooms are small and simple, sleeping mats spread on the floor, perhaps some cotton blankets for the cooler nights, a few storage baskets in the corners. The children settle onto their mats, their parents nearby, the darkness complete, except for the faint glow of starlight through the small windows. There are no bedtime stories here, at least none we can hear, but perhaps there are soft songs, lullabies passed down through generations, melodies that soothe and comfort, that ease the transition from waking to sleep. The adults remain awake a while longer, tending to final tasks by the light of small oil lamps, simple clay vessels with a wick floating in oil, producing a small, steady flame. The light is dim, but sufficient for simple work, the familiar tasks that don't require bright illumination. Eventually, they too make their way to their sleeping quarters, banking the fire in the courtyard, ensuring all is secure for the night. Outside, the city is growing quiet. The main streets are empty now, most people having returned to their homes, settled into their evening routines. The city has no street lighting, so the darkness between buildings is complete and deep. The stars above, brilliantly bright in compensation. The Milky Way, a river of light across the black sky. From somewhere comes the distant sound of music, a simple flute playing a melody that is both haunting and beautiful. Notes rising and falling in patterns that speak of longing and contentment both, of the human need to create beauty even in the simplest forms. The music drifts through the quiet streets, touching everything softly, a gift to the night. The river continues its eternal flow beyond the city walls, the sound of water barely audible from here, but somehow present in the consciousness, a reminder of the source of life in this region. The river brings silt for fertilizing fields, water for crops and drinking, fish for food, a highway for trade. Without the river, there would be no city, no civilization, just dry plains and scattered settlements. In the granary on the citadel, grain is stored in large quantities, the surplus from good harvests, insurance against years of drought or flood. The grain is kept in brick compartments, protected from moisture and pests, carefully managed and distributed. This ability to store and manage resources is part of what makes urban life possible, allowing people to specialize in crafts and trades rather than everyone needing to farm. The city is a triumph of planning and organization, of understanding water management and urban design, of creating systems that allow large numbers of people to live together in relative health and prosperity. The drainage, the wells, the uniform bricks, the orderly streets, all speak of a civilization that values order and cleanliness, that thinks collectively about the common good. And now that civilization sleeps, its people resting in their brick houses, secure behind the city walls, protected by the very organization and planning that characterizes everything here. The streets are silent, the workshops closed, the public buildings empty. Only the stars and the river keep their vigil, constant and eternal, indifferent to human sleep and waking. We too can rest here, in this ancient and well-ordered place, letting its calm efficiency soothe our modern anxieties. There is something deeply comforting about order, about systems that work, about the evidence of human capability to create and organize, to build something lasting and good. Sleep comes easily in such a place. The body and mind finding rest in the darkness, in the silence, in the knowledge that others have slept here before us, that the patterns of daily life have repeated for generations, that there is continuity and stability, that morning will come and life will continue in its measured way. The city breathes slowly, barely breathing at all, so still and quiet it might be sleeping itself, dreaming of the river and the fields, of commerce and craft, of children playing and families gathering, of all the beautiful ordinary moments that make up a life, a city, a civilization that flourished here thousands of years ago and left behind these brick walls, these drainage channels, these wells and buildings as testament to human ingenuity and the enduring desire to create order from chaos, beauty from brick, community from individual lives lived together, and we rest within that testament, held by its ancient walls, soothed by its order, drifting into sleep as the city drifts, as the river drifts, as all things drift, eventually into the great quiet from which they came and to which they return. The cycle, eternal and natural and deeply peaceful. Rest in the ordered peace of brick and water